Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, before we hop in the video, I want to thank the fantastic sponsor of the channel, SKJ Tax. December is here. That means tax season is set to kick off, and it's time to draft an all-pro CPA to create your tax savings playbook. The IRS has instant replay, and when they throw the challenge flag, they charge penalties, fines, and interest that'll put you behind the sticks. Don't let the IRS sack your bank account. Hire JR the Tax Czar to drive yourself or your business down the field for a tax savings touchdown. The best part about SKJ Tax is JR is a Jet fan and he supports the channel. So if you want to support the channel, you want to help yourself out during tax season, head over to JR and SKJ Tax, linked in the description below. The next topic I want to talk about, Robert Saleh discussing tanking and the coaching changes that could or should be made in the offseason. Robert Saleh addresses the tanking question.
What do you say to the fan who looks at games now that you're not going to the playoffs and says they'd be better off losing, right? Get better draft position. What do you get out of these wins right now that it's not going for the playoffs?
It's a good question, Kaz, because you as a fan, I get it, but I would challenge the fan to walk into the locker room and look at all those men who strap up every day and cross the white and put in all this work. We're all competitive, no one wants to step on the field and put together a poor effort and look bad on tape. That's their resume. That's who they are. That's who we are. Our game plans, our performance on the field as players, and there's a lot of pride and there's a lot of sacrifice that all these men who play football have sacrificed their entire lives, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the family time, the vacations, to put themselves in position to call themselves professional athletes. And while I get it from the fan perspective, you will never see a player ever think about anything other than stepping on the field, being his absolute best, and trying to figure out how to win a football game. Same with coaches.
This is exactly the response I do want to hear from Robert Saleh. Like, obviously acknowledging the fan base and the frustration that we have, because there is a very different lens that you look through as a fan versus a coach and a player. As a fan, I'm a Jet fan for life, unfortunately. I'm just kind of stuck there. I'm not leaving. But Robert Saleh, the players, this is their resume, this is their body of work, this is how they get paid, this is their career. They cannot just go out and openly tank. So no fan is actively asking coaches to tank or asking players to put on a poor effort. We want to see consistency. And consistently over the course of the season, we have gotten poor effort. But then as soon as the season is over, after you get shut out by a division rival, a game you needed to stay in the playoffs, or at least the playoff hunt, you get your doors kicked in the second half of a game against the worst team in the NFL, who traded away two of their best players on the defensive line, has the 32nd ranked defense, and you have to win in like a last-second field goal of 55 yards because they're playing prevent defense, and it wasn't a good way to win. Like, I understand where he's coming from. And look, I'm never going to go into a stadium or go into a locker room and say, hey, Breece Hall, hey, Garrett Wilson, you guys need to put in a poor effort and lose this game. No, as a fan, I want to see you put in the same effort you put into that game, into every game. Don't come out flat against the Dolphins. Don't come out and I don't necessarily put this all on the players. I put a lot of this on the coaching. The coaching consistently, when the Jets are in their backs are against the wall, consistently with Robert Saleh, 83 points against, 15 points for in the 3 games where we were facing elimination from the playoffs the last 3 years. And it's really frustrating as a fan because there's just situations that we're just not lucky enough to accidentally get the top pick. Everyone says, oh, well, tanking has never worked for the New York Jets. It's because we haven't completed the tank is the most frustrating part. You don't complete the tank. You wind up winning a meaningless game against the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2007, winds up getting Matt Ryan to go in front of you, and we wind up taking Vernon Gholston. Then in 2019, you wind up winning a game at the end. You don't get Nick Bosa like the 49ers, who apparently tanked and lost their quarterback for the season. It was a golden opportunity. You wind up with Quinnen Williams. And I love Quinnen. I got no issue with Quinnen. But Leo and Bosa plus, everything else is probably a little bit better. And then you got the whole Trevor Lawrence, Zach thing. It's not a surefire thing. I get it. as a fan. But like, we got a lot of baggage as fans for the last 50 years. So as much as you might be like irritated that fans might, be actively rooting for a tank, the best way to do that or to prevent that from happening is to win games. Win games, and this is not a discussion. No fan is going to actively root for losses and draft picks when you are winning football games. So win football games, not a problem. As far as changes to the coaching staff for next year, they've already been told everyone's safe, or at least the major players are safe. So that's Hackett, that's Saleh, that's Douglas. No one's leaving. But I would think you have to make some changes across the board. Offensive line-wise, plenty of teams have offensive line issues. The Jets seem to consistently have the worst ones. So offensive line coach, passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach, those three, yank them out, get them out of here. I don't think we can do worse than what we currently are right now. Like, for me, you got to have some type of blood. Someone's got to fall on the sword, and I don't particularly want it to be Zach. I really think the coaching staff kind of screwed us on a little bit more here. And Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas definitely did not set us up for success from an offensive line perspective. We didn't do enough to get what we needed to do. So we'll have to see if we can address that in the offseason with all the free agent money, all the draft picks. But man, it's brutal. And I get where fans are frustrated. I get where the coaching staff and the players are probably frustrated with the fans about the tanking thing. But I don't know. I guess I can't tell someone how to be a fan, but I can tell someone like, hey, you got to understand like where we're coming from on a lot of this. This is frustrating. Like, are you going to be able to figure out the tackle position in the offseason? Because there's not a lot of good offensive linemen in free agency. And in the draft, you kind of played yourself out of the top two. I mean, I guess as long as you take the right player, it's all water under the bridge. You can find talent in every round. You just need to have a GM that can do it. It just so happens that our GM can't figure out the offensive line. Becton instead of Wirfs. You got friggin', I don't know. There's just a lot of flub-ups across the board here. And I just want the offensive line fixed. I want it solved. I don't want to have to think about this for another season. JETS